Hello, viewers of Mangastorian. My name is Benny, also known as the Comic Storian, and I am from the future to bring back Gamer Subs. If you can get this to the Comic Storian, he will not die of a heart disease, which never made any real sense to me because Goku's super powerful. Get Gamer Subs. Go and use the code COMICS at checkout. Get yourself Gamer Subs and then bring it to the Comic Storian. You'll prevent heart disease from killing him after defeating everything in the entire world. That's how Dragon Ball works, right? Recently, I finished up the Granolah arc. I don't really know what it's called. It's the arc that's terrible. It comes after Moro in Dragon Ball Super, and basically, it's the most MacGuffin arc I've ever seen. And today I wanted to talk about my opinions on Dragon Ball Super the manga and why Dayama, I'm thinking it's pronounced Dayama, might be the better direction to go in, even though I don't agree with children versions of our favorite superheroes. This channel is Mangastorian. I read a lot of old manga and then I talk about my opinions on it. And sometimes some of you guys care, and sometimes you don't. Look at the video views. You can guess which ones those are. So first off, what I did enjoy about this arc. I actually thought it showed a lot of great development for Vegeta. It showed weird development for our classic Goku boy. And Frieza came back out of nowhere. So let me kind of set the picture for you, for those of you who aren't reading the manga and you only watched the TV show. Dragon Ball Super ended on the Ultimate Tournament arc. The Ultimate Tournament arc pretty much ended with Goku becoming God. He got the ability of Ultra Instinct, which was an ability of the gods. Using Ultra Instinct, he was able to win the tournament, and therefore the show pretty much came to its inevitable conclusion. Goku could literally not get any stronger. He was at God tier. That should have been where Dragon Ball Super ended, and then we move into a reboot or a new idea like Dayama. Okay? If you don't know what Dayama is, at New York Comic Con, they've announced a new show in the Dragon Ball lineup, Dragon Ball Dayama, which is, I once again might not be pronouncing it correctly. It's D-A-I-M-A. But what it basically is everybody gets turned into a chibi child, and it's going to be Akira Toriyama's version of Dragon Ball GT. We don't really know any information about it outside of the fact that he's going to be heavily involved. That makes me think that this is his attempt to correct the problems that I see with the direction that the Dragon Ball manga has gone. So we did the Moro arc, and I spoke about the Moro arc, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's a cool idea. But in that arc, one thing stuck out as a bit weird to me. Goku was no longer God tier. He could use Ultra Instinct, and it was the strongest he could get, but now people were beginning to find problems with Ultra Instinct, such as he couldn't use sheer strength. Yes, he could dodge everything without thinking about it, but he had no power behind it. Ultra Instinct was no longer God tier. Now, that didn't bother me too much in the Moro arc, because I was like, well, of course we got to do something like that. We need to move forward. We have to progress the story somewhere else. And at the time, my assumption was that this arc would just become the next Dragon Ball Super arc whenever they got around to doing it. But it's in this particular arc, which I'm just calling the Granolah arc, I don't really know what it's called, that I see why they decided to go with Dayama. The Granolah arc isn't inherently bad. We get a lot of the fun scenes we always get. Vegeta and Goku going back and forth. We get to see a bit of a mix-up with Granolah and how he wants to fight Vegeta and Goku. But the first issue, and I mentioned this in my last video, that I found is we've thrown out the concept of the Dragon Balls pretty much. Everybody in every planet has a series of Dragon Balls, and at this point, there's only 2. On this particular planet, they only needed 2 Dragon Balls to be able to make a wish. And the wish that they made was, I want to be the strongest in the universe. Okay, so we're going to use a MacGuffin to make Granolah technically stronger than Vegeta and Goku. But the caveat is that Granolah loses some of his lifespan in order to be able to do this. Cool. I get that trade-off. All right, that's a weird way to give us a new villain that is stronger than God mode, Vegeta and Goku. But it does feel a little weak, lame, because they're not really giving us a solid way for this guy to... He literally just wished to be the strongest. But okay, that would be fine if it's one guy and then we move the story forward. And that was where I left my read off. I left it off when we were going back in time to discuss what was going on with Bardock. And this is where it's not terrible, but to me it honestly just felt like Dragon Ball Super fan fiction. That's kind of how it felt. It didn't feel like proper Dragon Ball Super. It felt like the kind of stuff that I was reading and I was like, okay, fun. What? Whatever. And there was a lot of things that I had to ignore to fully enjoy the arc. The first of which being Bardock with Saiyan pride. So the story goes on. We find out that Bardock has saved Granolah when he was a kid, and he saved the Namekian. I just called him Old Green Guy for most of it because it begins with an M, and I could never figure out how to pronounce it, so I called him the Old Green Guy. And he saves the Old Green Guy, and he saves Granolah. And the Old Green Guy is trying to give him enough power to fight against Gas, this incredibly powerful villain. But Bardock doesn't have Super Saiyan or any of that kind of stuff. And the Old Green Guy makes a wish to get Bardock off the planet. Bardock turns that down. He wants to do the fight. So instead, the Old Green Guy says, what do you want me to wish for? Now, instead of wishing for Gas to die or for Bardock to be more powerful or for him to become the strongest in the universe at the time, the wish that they make is that that his son will thrive. Which I didn't think too much of at the time because I'm like, there's no way that we are going to claim that everything that has happened to Goku is a wish made by his father before he was even born. That would be not like a true retcon, but I feel like it would take away from Goku to some extent if you just go ahead and chalk up, oh, everything worked in your favor because your dad made a wish. So I just thought offhandedly that was something that Bardock said in whatever. No, when we come back to the present and the story's being told to Vegeta and Goku, that is what happened. Vegeta even makes a comment that Goku and Raditz were able to survive because of a wish from their father. So it's not like a heavy-handed, like, oh, Goku's earned nothing. But it's weird. It'd be like if I came at you right now and I was like, Batman's the greatest superhero in existence. And then I'm like, but I did a little bit of a retcon. Batman's powers are based on the fact that he made a wish when he was a kid to be the best superhero in the DC universe at all times. It would change the dynamic of who Batman is. Because you'd be like, okay, yeah, he doesn't have powers, but he's always won because of this wish he made. And that's kind of how I felt when I got to that part in the Goku story. I was like, the fights are fun. The back and forth between Vegeta and Goku are fun, but it just felt like a fan fiction. And now we're throwing in that Goku thrived because of a wish. I didn't like that. It just felt bitter to me. Like you were taking away from what Goku had achieved in all of these years of Dragon Ball. But all right, I can overlook that. It's an offhanded mention in a manga that didn't really go anywhere. But then they make a second wish with the Dragon Balls, and that wish is that Gas is now the strongest person in the entire universe. So we've done the wish twice, which, again, I feel takes away from Ultra Instinct and takes away from Ultra Ego. Goku is training to become this angel god form, which, by the way, he had, but we had to do something, so he's back to training it. And as we've gone from Moro to this, he's had less and less control over Ultra Instinct. They've gone ahead and used the excuse of, well, Goku has to come up with his own way to use Ultra Instinct. Okay, I kind of get that, but as these two arcs have gone forward, Goku has definitively gotten weaker with Ultra Instinct, to the point where he doesn't use Ultra Instinct. The villains are even making comments. Oh, what color is his hair now? Blue, red, silver? Oh, it's just black? What is that one? I don't think that's any power in that one. And I'm like, says he's just flickering through them, which, by the way, is hard to follow in manga because it's in black and white. I'm not reading the color versions. So they're like, his hair's red. I'm like, it is? Looks pretty gray to me. Like, it's an issue for me as the manga reader. Okay, and I know I'm not the only one. They literally have to tell you what color his hair is because he just transforms, and then the villains are like, "Oh, it's blue. What does blue do?" Like, "Oh, thanks, thank you. If I legitimately didn't have you, I would not know what power level we're at now." But none of the power levels matter anymore. Even Ultra Instinct doesn't matter anymore because he's just freely going between them, and now they've all got a weakness causing future problems and stuff like that. I don't like that. I liked the idea of, at the end of Dragon Ball Super, Ultra Instinct was peak. He hit it. He literally saved the universe and proved himself to be the strongest warrior in the entire universe. And then the next chapter, he's like, yeah, but I don't really know how to use it. What? You just did it, buddy. You won. And from what I gathered in the Ultra Instinct final Ultra match, Anybody shows up that can beat you, you're gonna do Ultra Instinct again. So what does it matter? Anyway, we get back to the fighting. Everyone's battling against super powered up Gas, who doesn't want to use his ultra powers because he wants to prove that he can beat everyone with the abilities that he honed before making the wish. So the fight just drags out for like 3 chapters of everyone beating him. Then he unleashes his true final form. Standard Dragon Ball fashion. I was on board with that. That's how it works, right? Oh, you haven't defeated me in my final form. It's the usual Dragon Ball motive memorandum. I'm trying to be smart and I can't even say the word. Opus. They end up fighting against Gas. Gas superpowers up. They go back and forth. And then we have I'm a fan of Vegeta over Goku. And I'm on board. The fight's happening. I'm having a great time. I'm overlooking the little fanficky kind of things that they decided to pull off in this particular arc. And then Vegeta does the most out of character thing I've ever seen him. This whole fight has not been about Vegeta learning any lessons or Vegeta working with people. It has not been about, oh, we can work as a team and I need to distract. The entire fight has been Vegeta and Goku taking turns fighting Gas because they both think that their form is superior. Ultra Ego versus Ultra Instinct. So Vegeta goes and gets the last Senzu Bean and gives it to Granolah. Okay, I'll accept that under the simple guise of Granolah wished to be the strongest in the universe before Gas. So they definitively know without a shadow of a doubt at this exact moment, Granolah's technically stronger than Vegeta. So, from a tactics standpoint, it would make sense to go revive Granolah over Vegeta eating the Senzu Bean himself. Fine. But about a chapter or 2 later, Vegeta uses the last of his energy to give energy to Goku instead of just going in and fighting. That I felt was very out of character when the entire fight has been who's strongest. Now Vegeta suddenly wants to see everybody else get more powerful than him for the sake of this last fight. By the way, funny side note with this last fight, Goku comments on Vegeta's form and he doesn't call it Ultra Ego, calls it Freaky Face Mode. I'm just calling Ultra Ego Freaky Face Mode now in casual conversation because Freaky Face Mode is so much better than Ultra Ego. Vegeta was not happy about that comment. The battle then continues. We discover some plot points involving Gas. We evolved some of them with his brother. His brother has been using Gas, using everyone. It was kind of all expected. There was nothing unexpected in the battle. Gas keeps getting back up. He keeps getting a new form. Granolah has to fight him. Goku has to fight him. Goku tricks him with tactics, which I thought was actually a great progression for Goku's character. They realize that he can't win against Gas one-on-one, but he has more abilities than Gas, so he's using instant transmission to warp away, and Gas doesn't know how to control it as well, so he's trying to keep up. I thought it was a fun way to, Goku's using some tactics as opposed to just trying to slug it out, so it was a fun thing going on with that. But the story resolves, and this is, at this point in the story, I'm like, okay, I can excuse most of what has happened. I can chalk this up to sound like a fanfic. I can do all of this. The last chapter, Frieza shows up. Out of nowhere. Now, it's been established that the Heaters and, the Saiyans all worked for Frieza, so his name has been mentioned. But he shows up out of nowhere with the excuse of Frieza was invited here by the Heaters with the assumption that Gas would be able to kill Frieza so that the Heaters could be free of Frieza. Okay. Frieza then transforms into Black Frieza mode, or Frieza Black. I'm not 100% sure which way they're saying the name. And then demolishes Gas without even trying. Now, the problem I have with that, and they establish it in there, is that they have made a wish that Gas is the strongest in the universe. The excuse for why Frieza was able to do this is he got into the equivalent of one of the hyperbolic chambers and wasn't actually in the universe at the time of the wish. So Frieza's stronger than Gas. Now, by power scaling rules, which anybody who follows me at Comic Story knows that I'm not a super fan of, that would imply that Frieza is now definitively stronger than Vegeta and Goku. Okay, and they even established that at the beginning of the next chapter in the next arc, because I did read a little ahead, I wasn't quite sure where the arc ended, that now Vegeta and Goku have a new goal to get stronger to take out Frieza Black or Black Frieza. But it doesn't make any sense. It really just feels like they didn't even properly explain it. It almost feels like when they were writing this manga, they're just like, "What? We need someone stronger than Goku and Vegeta. Make a wish. A wish will do it." Okay, well, we need gas off the table now. Make Frieza stronger. And we're going to go back to the classic Frieza, Goku, and Vegeta fights. That's what we're going to do. Because that's what the fans want. We do, but we want there to be a natural progression to get there. And I don't want them to have dismissed Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct was peak, man. That was like, he did it. Like, love or hate Super. I know it's got its haters, okay? I didn't think it was as good as Z, but I don't think it was as bad as people make it out to be. But at least it ended the Dragon Ball saga on what felt like peak Goku. And the manga turned peak Goku into just Goku on a Tuesday. So that's my problem with it. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's good. I wanted to really enjoy this arc, and I'm going to do the superhero arc now, and I'll talk about that probably next week or the week after, because that's what's next. They decided to put everything on hold to go do the superhero story, which based on what I saw briefly, I think they're going to do a version of the movie. I don't know, but I have no idea at the moment. But that's why I think they're making Daiyama. I think they realized they brought Goku to the peak in terms of the show. They tried some new ideas in the manga to see what people would think about it. You know, Black Frieza, Ultra Instinct not being as strong as we thought, Ultra Ego being a thing. And they were like, people aren't liking it. Let's do something new. Let's do a totally different idea and give it like a weird, soft reboot. And I think that's what Daiyama is. Now, I'm going off of at the time of recording this video, all we have is Akira Toriyama said that this is the most he's been involved in a project in years. And there's been no definitive word at this time that it's in canon, not in canon, spin-off, if they're going to come back to Super. But I do wonder one thing. Dragon Ball is a massive franchise. I think it's one of the few anime to go beyond anime. I know people that will watch Dragon Ball who don't care at all about anime. Cowboy Bebop falls into that as well, if you're curious. They're the ones that I consider to be beyond anime. A lot of the early Toonami stuff is, because a lot of us were exposed to that, and if we didn't go further into the world of anime, that was where we ended it. So it's like early Toonami stuff. But Dragon Ball can go beyond. I honestly think that they could do Daiyama and do these arcs in Super and not make it confusing, because now I don't know if these arcs are going to be in canon or if these two arcs are going to be GT level of removed from everything, ignore it, it doesn't exist. But that's my opinions on the arc. You know, I try to love everything, and overall, I did enjoy the arc. I was enjoying it until Black Frieza showed up, and I'm like, so none of this matters. Literally none of this matters. This is the epitome of none of it matters. You kicked gas to the curb. You got rid of Granolah. Big Green Namekian guy's gone. It's just Vegeta and Goku back to training. You could remove this whole arc and call it filler and just say that they found out Vegeta got stronger and we're done. That's it. Okay, next thing. So that's where we're at. I'm calling this the ultimate filler arc. That's what I'm calling it, the ultimate, because it has one thing that makes it canon. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. Is it canon? Who the hell knows anymore? Anyway, if you guys enjoyed today's video, let me know in the comments down below. Next up, I'm going to be starting to read Black Clover. We're going to do more Dragon Ball Super, and of course, One Piece Fridays right here at Manga Story. And thank you guys so much for your continued support. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Waifu Cups and Gamer Sups. They'll prevent me from having a heart disease and dying early. If you don't know where that joke is, I actually do not have a heart disease. I'm going to throw that out there real quick. I don't. If you don't know where that joke is coming from, early Dragon Ball Z, Trunks came back from the future to prevent Goku from having a heart disease by giving him a medicine. I just want to put that out there. I do not have a heart disease. This will not prevent heart disease. Disclaimer, will not prevent heart disease. It's just a fruit punch drink, okay? See you guys next time.